I had a really interesting thought this morning. So this is, it's been a long little break. I think we all needed it over December. And I just thought about the different types of breast cancer. Few people actually understand it. So obviously you get your almost like most common type, those that are related to your hormones, estrogen and progesterone, receptor positive cancers. These are the ones that end up getting your most common type of chemotherapy, the one that you have horrible symptoms. It's actually called Herceptin. Most patients refer to it as the red devil, and it is actually red in the little saline bag that they use. But one that's less commonly understood is triple negative breast cancer. Now, triple negative breast cancer refers to what the pathologist actually saw. So remember, when they see a mass or a lump and they do a biopsy of it, they take a few bits of that tissue and they send it to the pathologist. They actually check what makes this cancer tick, what made this cancer grow. And like I said, the most common ones they first check for is estrogen and progesterone. Now with triple negative, these are the first two things that they check, and they see, no, this one isn't responding to that. So it's a no for estrogen and a no for progesterone. And then the third one is the HER2 gene. Also a typical type of gene receptor or something that a cancer responds to. And that also doesn't show up during the pathologist test. So all three of them weren't seen or tested for positive with the pathologist, and they call that a triple negative breast cancer. Now, the thing about this that is quite a toughie for any patient is, and the best way I can explain it to you is it's similar to having a flu. Remember, when you have flu, there isn't really like one magic treatment for flu. Typically, what your doctor would give to you is what we call a broad-spectrum antibiotic. And a broad-spectrum antibiotic sort of fights against a range of different viruses and things. And usually we're holding thumbs that flu will respond to one of those things that it's targeting. Also, flu, even like the coronavirus now currently, it's actually being treated by symptoms. If you have, if you're not hospitalized, if you just have it as a common flu, actually treating the symptoms. You're getting stuff for sore throat and everything. So it's all things to alleviate the symptoms that you have for flu. It's about the same concept when it comes to triple negative breast cancer. There's no specific targeted chemotherapy like they have for estrogen, progesterone, HER2 gene positive receptor breast cancers. So typically for these type, in the similar same concept as having a broad spectrum antibiotic for flu, it's almost like a broad spectrum chemotherapy range is given for triple negative, because there's not one targeted chemotherapy that can be given. So they rather provide a range of different chemotherapies to try and target that cancer growth. Also, best way for a cancer to be prevented from growing is to provide chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and then also surgery. The three things together gives the best outcome or prognosis for a patient. Also, the reason triple negative breast cancer is known as the very aggressive type, or the one with poor prognosis, is exactly for that reason, because there's no targeted therapy. But doctors and researchers around the world are working so hard to get the best possible method to treat it. Obviously, doctors want to give the best outcome for any disease or problem patients have in their lifetime. And that is why they have these awesome new treatments that they're working on, like targeted immunotherapy and. So there are other options, but I think people fail to understand the meaning of triple negative breast cancer. It seems almost like, it's just triple negative. And It's important to understand that, and the best way I can think of explaining it is like explaining it like having the common flu. So, yeah, do let me know if you have any other things you would love for us to talk about or explain to you. That's my jam. I love doing that. But this is another one of our podcasts, Break the Stigma.